You know, I've been there, man. That moment when you finally make the tough call to walk away from her isn't something that happens overnight. It takes countless sleepless nights, endless back and forth thoughts, and that heavy ache in your chest that just won't go away. Maybe you tried everything to make it work, stayed patient, gave love, forgave mistakes, but still, it felt like you were fighting a losing battle. Maybe she started pulling away, treating you like an option, or stopped seeing the effort you were putting in. Whatever the reason, there comes a point where you realize that staying is hurting you more than leaving ever could. That's the moment when your soul whispers, enough. Walking away isn't about pride or revenge, it's about self-respect. It's about choosing peace over pain, dignity over desperation. And even though your heart feels heavy, deep down you know you made the right decision. Still, as you step back, that silence hits like a wave. You start replaying everything in your head, wondering if she even noticed you're gone. You catch yourself checking your phone, half hoping she'll reach out, half dreading that she won't. You wonder if she's missing you, if she's regretting how things ended, or if she's already moved on like you never mattered. That's the hardest part, not knowing. It's a strange mix of relief and emptiness, strength and sadness. You tell yourself you'll be fine, but the mind keeps circling back to what is she thinking right now, and that's where the real journey begins. Because walking away isn't just an action, it's the start of transformation. It's the first step toward healing, rediscovering your worth, and realizing that sometimes letting go isn't losing, it's choosing yourself for the first time in a long time. The moment you finally walk away, everything changes. Her world tilts in ways she doesn't expect, even if she tries to act like it doesn't bother her. At first, there's disbelief, a quiet voice in her head saying, "He'll be back." The thought becomes her shield, her ego's way of protecting itself from the sting of rejection. She tells herself you're just upset, that you'll cool off and come running again like you always did. Maybe she even laughs it off with her friends, pretending it's no big deal. But underneath that surface confidence, there's tension. Something about your silence feels different this time. She checks her phone more often than she admits, expecting that familiar notification, that message that says you still care. When it doesn't come, confusion creeps in. Her mind starts replaying the last conversation, the tone of your voice, the final look you gave her before you left. The stillness you've created is louder than any argument you ever had. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, the clash between what she expected and what's actually happening. She thought she had control, but the reality you've created is forcing her to face a new truth. Maybe she didn't know you as well as she thought. That's when the silence begins to echo. Every day you don't reach out, the echo grows stronger, and that quiet confidence starts to crumble. She starts to wonder, did I push too far? Did I underestimate him? That uncertainty turns into discomfort, and that discomfort slowly becomes curiosity. The longer you stay gone, the more she feels your absence, not just as a missing person, but as a missing energy. It's the first time she realizes that maybe you were the one holding everything together, and now, she's left alone to face the emptiness she never thought would come. As time starts to stretch, days turning into weeks, something begins to shift inside her. At first, she tries to convince herself that she's fine without you, that walking away was your loss, not hers. But slowly, the quiet begins to get louder. The absence that once felt freeing now starts to feel unsettling. She begins to notice the empty spaces where you used to fit, the late-night conversations, the good morning texts, the comfort of knowing you were always there. It's strange how silence can expose what noise used to hide. With every day that passes and no message from you, her mind starts to wander into places she avoided before. She begins to question herself. Was I too cold? Did I push him away? Was he really that easy to replace? These questions are the first cracks in the armor of pride she's been wearing. This is what people call the absence paradox. The more you stay away, the stronger your presence becomes. She thought you'd chase her again, but now it's your distance that's chasing her thoughts. Late at night, when everything slows down, she feels the weight of what she lost. That sense of control she once had starts to slip through her fingers. Even the little things, seeing someone who reminds her of you, a song you used to play, or scrolling past an old photo, begin to trigger memories she thought she buried. Over time, the clarity she once had fades. She starts wondering if maybe she was wrong about you, wrong about what you meant to her. The ego that once fueled her certainty begins to deflate, leaving behind something more human, more vulnerable, a quiet realization that maybe, just maybe, she let go of someone who truly cared. Now imagine this: you've stopped waiting for her message, stopped checking if she's viewed your story, stopped replaying every word she said. Something inside you starts to shift. You begin to pour all the energy you once gave to her into yourself. The gym becomes therapy, your goals become your new obsession, and your peace becomes your top priority. Slowly, you start rebuilding the version of you that existed before the heartbreak, only this time, stronger, wiser, and sharper. You're not doing it to make her jealous, even if part of you once hoped she'd notice. You're doing it because you're tired of losing yourself for someone who couldn't see your worth. This is your rebirth, your rise from the ashes. While you're out there growing, she's noticing. Maybe she sees a picture of you smiling, looking healthier, happier, lighter. Maybe mutual friends mention how well you're doing. That's when it hits her: this isn't the man who begged to stay. You've evolved into someone she no longer recognizes, and that realization stings. She starts to see what she lost in a way she couldn't before. She might not admit it out loud, but deep down, she feels the regret creeping in. Your transformation disrupts the story she told herself. She expected you to crumble, but instead, you flourished. You've become living proof that healing and growth can be more powerful than revenge. And in that growth, something magical happens: you stop caring whether she's watching or not. You're too busy building, too focused on the next chapter of your life. That's the real turning point, when you stop needing her to see your value because you finally see it yourself. That's when your glow becomes unstoppable, and the past loses all its power over you. When you finally walk away, something powerful shifts inside you. All the energy you used to spend trying to fix things, trying to be understood, trying to prove your worth, it begins to return home to you. It's like realizing you've been holding your breath for too long and now, at last, you can exhale. Before, everything you did revolved around her. Her mood dictated your peace, her approval decided your happiness. You were giving and giving, hoping she'd see your effort, your loyalty, your love. But when you step away, the cord that connected your emotions to her actions starts to break. That's when you begin to feel something unfamiliar but liberating: freedom. It's not an overnight transformation. At first, you might still feel that pull, that urge to check on her, that old habit of caring even when you shouldn't. But with time, the space you've created becomes your sanctuary. You start to see yourself from a new perspective. You begin to remember who you were before the pain, before the confusion. And that version of you, the one with drive, purpose, and confidence, starts to rise again. She can feel this shift too, even if you're not speaking. Energy doesn't lie. The silence that once came from sadness now radiates strength. When she realizes she no longer has access to your attention, that's when the tables turn. The balance of power changes because your energy, once scattered, has returned to its rightful place with you. And that's the real victory. You start walking differently, speaking differently, carrying yourself with calm assurance. You understand now that your love, your time, your presence, they're privileges, not guarantees. And not everyone gets to experience them. That realization is the foundation of your power, and once you claim it, there's no going back. At some point, she starts to appear again, quietly and almost unintentionally. Maybe it's a like on one of your posts, a view on your story, or a random comment that seems innocent but carries a hidden curiosity. You notice it, of course, you always do. That's the strange thing about social media in this era: even silence speaks. Her reappearance isn't random, it's a sign that something inside her is stirring. When she sees you smiling, laughing with friends, traveling, or just living your life without her, it challenges the version of you she had in her head. She expected you to fade, to sulk, to miss her endlessly. But instead, she sees light in your eyes again, and that light unsettles her. Humans crave validation, especially from those they once held close. When she sees you thriving, it sparks a mix of emotions: curiosity, nostalgia, even regret. It's called social proof. The more others value and celebrate you, the more she starts to remember what made you special. But this time, she's just another viewer in your audience, not the main character in your story. Every post you make, every success you share becomes a quiet reminder that you no longer need her approval. The beauty of this phase is that your energy has shifted from seeking to showing. You're not pretending to be happy, you truly are. The peace on your face, the confidence in your steps, the growth in your mindset all speak louder than any words could. People can feel authenticity, and so can she. And when your joy is real, it's magnetic. That's what draws her back to watch from the shadows, realizing too late that the person she once took for granted is now someone she can't stop thinking about. Closure is one of those things everyone talks about but few truly understand. For a long time, you might wait for it from her, for the apology, the explanation, the message that makes it all make sense. You tell yourself that if she just said she was sorry or admitted she was wrong, you'd finally be free. But the truth is, closure doesn't come from someone else's words, it comes from your own decision to stop needing them. Walking away gives you that chance to reclaim your narrative. It's the moment you stop letting her silence control your emotions. You realize that peace isn't something she can give you, it's something you build, piece by piece, by accepting what happened and choosing not to let it define you anymore. There's power in letting go without bitterness. You start to see that not every story needs a perfect ending or a neat explanation. Sometimes, people hurt you simply because they're lost within themselves. Sometimes they can't love you the way you deserve, no matter how much you tried. And when you finally accept that, something inside you softens. You stop replaying old conversations. You stop wondering what she's thinking. You stop needing her validation to feel whole. Closure looks like waking up one morning and realizing you didn't check your phone for her name. It's listening to a song that once hurt and feeling nothing but calm. It's knowing that you can remember her without the ache. You've given your best, learned your lessons, and walked away with grace. That's the kind of closure that lasts, the kind that doesn't depend on her, but on your own strength to say, I'm done waiting, and I'm finally at peace. It usually happens when you least expect it. Maybe it's been months since you've spoken, and your life has started to feel full again. You're not thinking about her the way you used to. Then, suddenly, her name appears on your screen. A simple message, hey, how have you been? But it carries the weight of everything left unsaid. For a brief second, you feel that old spark, that familiar rush of emotions. Part of you wants to reply instantly, but another part, the wiser one, hesitates. Because now, things are different. You're not the same person who once waited for her attention. You've grown, healed, evolved. The man she's reaching out to now isn't the one who begged her to stay, he's the one who learned to walk away. When she contacts you, it's rarely random. Something about your absence, your silence, your glow-up triggered her curiosity. Maybe she thought you'd always be there, a safe option, someone she could return to when she felt lonely. But now, she senses the distance between who you were and who you've become. That realization can be both confusing and painful for her. She might try to reconnect, to test if there's still a spark, or even to ease her own guilt. But this time, you see everything clearly. You understand that just because someone returns doesn't mean they've changed. You read her words, smile to yourself, and realize you no longer need her closure, attention, or affection. You've already moved beyond that chapter. You can respond with kindness, or not at all, but either way, the power is in your hands. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed her love to feel whole, and that quiet strength is what makes you truly free. Walking away was never about giving up, it was about beginning again. It's strange how something that once felt like the end can slowly turn into a new beginning, a chapter filled with strength, clarity, and self-respect. At first, the silence feels heavy, the loneliness almost unbearable, but over time, that same silence becomes peaceful. You start to realize that your life doesn't need to revolve around someone else to feel meaningful. You find joy in small things again, in your morning routine, in your goals, in your growth. Each day becomes a little lighter, each step a little stronger. You begin to see that letting go didn't break you, it rebuilt you. You're no longer chasing closure, validation, or attention. You're chasing purpose, peace, and authenticity. The version of you that once begged for love is gone, replaced by someone who knows their worth without needing anyone to confirm it. You start setting higher standards, not out of pride, but out of understanding. You've learned what it feels like to give too much to someone who gave too little. And because of that, you'll never settle again. As you move forward, the memories don't hurt the same way they used to. They become reminders of how far you've come. You realize that the person you walked away from wasn't your destination, they were part of your journey, a lesson in disguise. You thank them silently for showing you what you will no longer accept. And now, as you stand on the other side of heartbreak, you can finally see the truth. Walking away wasn't the end of love, it was the beginning of self-love. You didn't lose them, you found yourself. And that realization is more powerful than any apology, any reunion, or any goodbye.